you can write a signal in a very perfect way, then we can call it as a deterministic. For example, sine omega t. If I know the frequency, let us assuming I'm saying that omega is 2 pi radians. If I know exactly what is the frequency component involved in a sinusoid signal, assuming the phase is zero, then we call that kind of signals as deterministic. And the non-deterministic, or sometimes it is called as a stochastic signals. That means you exactly don't know what is going to happen. In some ways, a kind of deterministic signal is if you toss a coin, you can exactly tell there are only two possibilities, either head or tail. However, there are only two possibilities, yes. So one is head and the other is tail. However, let us assume the total number of students attending this particular lecture is completely deterministic number. I'm talking of the numbers, not the signals as of now. Is completely non-deterministic, is completely stochastic. The number of students attending this particular class is completely non-deterministic or stochastic. Although I can impose that 100% attendance is required, but due to some uncertainty, some of you may or may not join. So the total number of students who will be attending this class, if I want to predict before an hour, will be a stochastic number. That means it is not the deterministic number. We don't know. Nobody knows. For example, if all of you again thinks that, okay, definitely I will be attending, if all of you have that, if all of you take the place, the snow today, we will be attending 1:30 to 2:40 class, definitely. That is fine. From your side, it is fine. However, the uncertainty, for example, for some of your friends, there is no mobile network. There is a possibility that there will be no mobile network. Another possibility is that your mobile may not be working. Another possibility is your mobile battery completely drained out. Or another thing is while you might have dropped your mobile in the water and hence it is not working, unfortunately.
ప్రణీత్
అప్పుడు చూడండి ఢిల్లీ నుంచి టీమ్ అయితే వచ్చింది కదా.
So there are many such uncertainties when it comes into the picture. We cannot able to predict exactly what is going to happen with a futuristic signal, futuristic number, or futuristic option sources. So if the same somebody is in unmute, there is a minimum common sense people should be in mute always. And stochastic signals. For example, if your signals, your mobile signal, for example, the mobile signals what you are getting from through satellite or from various channels, if you cannot always predict the strength of the mobile signals due to the various reasons, either it could be through from the transmitter side or even from your side as well. Suppose the transmitter side, if it is if you're traveling in a car, then the mobile signal is completely stochastic. So you never know when there will be a good strength and when will be 100% strength, 90% strength, 50% strength, and so on. So because there are lots of uncertainties will come into the picture. So whenever there is some uncertainty, then we call those kind of signals as non-deterministic or stochastic signals. In general, 99.9% cases are non-deterministic or stochastic signal. Though if the stochasticity level is very low, we try to ignore it and we call it as deterministic. For example, if in the class of 100 students, for example, if in the class of 100 students, if I say that uh, only one student is absent, then I can say that okay, yeah, all of 99% is the total attendance, and then accordingly I can say that yes. So the total number of students who are attending is almost 100%. Then I can say that. That is one such classification of deterministic and non-deterministic or stochastic. Another such classification is periodic and aperiodic signal. If a particular signal repeats after a certain period, we call it as a periodic signal. If a particular signal does not repeat after a particular period, we call it as aperiodic signal. The example of the periodic signal is, in a normal case, the heartbeat of a common person. If you take the ECG, then it will show some kind of periodicity. However, the periodicity will immediately change if the person starts running. Then obviously the heartbeat will be increased, and again, based upon the pace at which he is running, the periodicity will change accordingly. And in some cases, the frequency of the AC signal, what we are getting is kind of, we can say it is a periodic signal because it is a 50 hertz, constant 50 hertz, because it is a certain period. Uh, for example, if the signals, what you are measuring, the continuous signal, let us assume measuring, if you are getting the temperature of your room, and if you are measuring it continuously, or maybe in the discrete way, then you can say that it is aperiodic, because the temperature of a room will not repeat after, after 1 hour. Let us assume now it is 30 degrees. After 1 hour, if you see for 5 minutes, then the same kind of pattern you will not see. So it is a kind of aperiodic signal. And the even and odd signal, this you might be aware of, if x of t equal to x of minus t, then what we call that kind of signal, x of t equal to x of minus t. What we call this type of signal, x of t equal to x of minus t, can anyone can respond?
Even, sir, even.
Huh?
Even signal.
Even sig-
Even signal. For the odd signal, what is going to happen here?
Minus.
Minus x of
If I keep the minus, then it will become odd or even signal like what. And we will see what is the energy and power signal. What is the general relation between energy and power?
Energy is equal to two times.
Energy equal to
Power into time.
power into time. The rate of change of energy, can you call it as a power?
No, sir.
We will see this aspect in more detail. Okay. So what I told here is just I gave the preamble of the deterministic and non-deterministic or stochastic signal. So behavior of these signals is predictable with respect to the time. We call it as a deterministic signal. There is no uncertainty. These signal can be expressed mathematically. You can see that, for example, x of t equal to 3 of t is a deterministic signal. You can see that the period repeats after every interval of time, after every period. You can see that the same cycle repeats here and so on. So the signal which repeats and which we can predict, actually this is a periodic signal. This is periodic as well as a deterministic signal. So you can easily predict, if you know this x of t equal to sine 3 of t, this formula, we can say that a particular signal is represented with this thing for any value of t. Any value of t, if I substitute, let us assume if I want, what will be my signal value at after 10 hours, then by using this simple relation, mathematical relation, I can find it out what is the deterministic signal. However, So this is a deterministic signal as well as, this is a periodic signal as well. So the non-deterministic signals or random signals or the stochastic signal. So behavior of these signals is random, that is not predictable with respect to the time. And as we discussed, there is always an uncertainty element involved uh, in this signal. And these signals can't be expressed mathematically. They can be expressed mathematically, but not, in a deterministic way. For example, thermal noise generated is non-deterministic signal. So the noise, so the thermal noise, so basically the heat generated, let us assume the heat generated from a particular body. So that is not a deterministic signal because you don't know what is your temperature of your body because it's keep on changing with respect to the time. So sometimes due to some metabolism, the temperature might be low. Sometimes the temperature might be high. I mean, within the limited range, it cannot, very low, or it cannot go to very high as well. So that is temperature. So the temperature of your room. So if you are, if you continuously monitor and if you plot with respect to the time in the x-axis and the y-axis, the temperature of your room. Let us assume if the sampling time is very low, then if you keep on monitoring that one, then obviously it will be, it is completely non-deterministic and non-periodic as well. So the periodic, mathematically, we will see the analysis of periodic and non-periodic signals. Given x of t is a continuous time signal, where x of t is periodic if and only if x of t equal to x of t plus t0 for any t and any integer n. So we'll see what is, if this particular thing satisfies, then we call it as a periodic, where t0 is the periodicity of the signal. The first thing is, let us assume x of t equal to a into cos omega t. So this is a signal. So to test the periodicity or to find the periodicity of the signal, then what we are going to do is wherever t is there, we'll substitute t plus t naught. So what we are going here is a cosine of omega, wherever this omega t is there, omega into wherever this t is there, t plus t naught. And then I can write it as, this, if I multiply omega into t and omega into t naught, I can write something like this. Then what is going to happen here is a cos omega t plus 2 pi, that equal to a cos omega t. Then the periodicity of this time will be t naught equal to 1 by f naught, where f naught I can say it as, where f naught is the frequency and omega equal to 2 pi f naught. So the question here arises, how did I got this one? From where did I get this one? From where did I obtain this one? Anyone? Anyone?
Sir,
Omega
question?
equal to 2 pi by
Hello?
Sir, repeat the questions.
So how did I got this expression? The one which is highlighted. Where? Yeah, please continue. In this equation. Yeah, why, from where is omega equal to, why this 2 pi I have replaced this? Obviously, if you compare these two things, what we did here is omega t naught equal to 2 pi. So we have replaced omega t naught equal to 2 pi. So then what is going to happen if I substitute t naught equal to 1 by f naught? Then what is going to happen? Omega equal to 2 pi by t naught, isn't it? If I compare these two equations, if I compare this 2 pi and this omega naught, then what is going to happen? Omega equal to 2 pi by t naught, isn't it? what I will say here is that omega t naught just time by t equal to 2 into pi. Okay, which implies what it will imply? It will imply omega equal to 2 into pi by t naught, isn't it? Omega equal to 2 into pi by t naught. What is this 1 by t naught? 1 by t naught is nothing but f naught. 2 into pi into f naught. Is it clear what is happening?
Yes, sir.
So that's why it is happening. If from where it has come, if I take omega equal to 2 by f naught, and if I if I do the reverse engineering, then this omega t plus 2 pi, then I can say that I can write it as a into cos omega naught. Then what I can say that what will be the periodicity of this particular signal, or what is the period of this signal? T naught. T naught is 1 by f naught. 1 by f naught will be my, and you know that what is f naught as well from this particular expression. So in this way I can say whether the signal is periodic or not. That means for every 2 pi instant, for every period of 2 pi, my signal will keep on repeating. That is obviously because if you plot a cosine signal, and if you see that what is happening for every 2 pi signal, 2 pi f in the x-axis, 2 pi, then it is going to repeat, or it has some periodicity. The non-periodic signal, this x of t, this particular relation will not inequality will not be the same. A non-periodic signal is assumed to have period of t equal to infinity. That means after every infinite time it is going to repeat, which is not going to happen. And what I can say is that example of a non-periodic signal is an exponential signal. What do you mean by an exponential signal? Exponential signal is a signal which will keep on either increasing or decreasing based upon that will be based upon whether my signal if the coefficient based upon the exponentially increasing or decreasing signal. For example, okay, let me take this signal. Okay, for example, this is my x-axis, this is x-axis is time, and y-axis, if this is going like this is exponentially increasing signal, or in other way my exponentially decreasing signal will be something like this. So what is happening here? The signal is not repeating. It will not repeat. Eventually, as t goes to infinity, this exponential value will go to 0. If t goes to infinity, then this y value will go to 0. So it will not repeat for any period of time. So that's why we call this as exponential signal as a periodic signal. So which does not have any periodicity. So similarly, in the discrete one, instead of t naught, it will be n, where n is the time samples. A discrete time signal is periodic signal if x of n equal to x of n plus n. For satisfying the above condition, the frequency of the discrete signal f naught equal to k by n. So this is very much similar to the continuous one. We'll see one small some of the properties of the periodic signals. So one such property is x of t equal to x1. You can add two different periodic signals. If x1 of t is periodic and x2 of 2 is periodic, then whatever summation you are getting, I am calling it as x2, x of t. We will see what is going to happen here is. So what I am going to do here is x of t plus t. That means in the left hand side, what I am going to do here is I am say that I will say what is this t. I assume that this t is the period of the particular signal. then x1 equal to t plus m1 into t1 and m2 into t1, where m1 and m2 are two different constants. So when m1 t1 equal to m2 t2 equal to t0, we call it as a fundamental period. The fundamental period means if I can say that whatever this m1 into t1 and m2 and t2 are the same, then we call it as a fundamental period. This doesn't imply this m1 t1 doesn't implies that m1 equal to m1 equal to m2. This does not implies that this particular equation, whatever you are saying, it does not imply that m1 equal to m2, because that depends upon t2, t1, t2 as well. There will be infinite possible combinations are possible for various where this equation will be satisfied, because there are two variables and only one equation is here. If there are two variables and two equations, then you can find the unique solution. One such examples, let us assume one case where m1 equal to 1 and t1 equal to 2. So in the left hand side, what you will be getting, if m1 equal to 1 and t1 equal to 2, for this particular value in the left hand side we will be getting 2. That means m1 equal to 1. However, here if I substitute m2 equal to 2 and t2 equal to 1, then also it is possible. So what I mean to say here is that this m1 equal to m2 does not imply m1 t1, does not necessarily imply m1 t1 equal to m2 t2. Okay. For example, whatever this, that's why this product, whatever you say it is, we are calling it as a t0, and which is the fundamental period. We'll see one small example. What is happening here is cosine of t pi by 3 plus sine t pi by 4. All of you please do this one and see what is, if you are getting this or not. All of you, the answer is in front of you, and see what you are getting there. Try to analyze this by using the pen and paper. Here, find the m1 and m2. What is this m1 and m2? Whether this is clear, if this is clear, then obviously the remaining part one can do easily. Do you know how you are getting this one? Okay, let me explain you this particular thing, and then you can, you can do for the remaining things. So what I will do here is I will start from here. So the first part only I will be considering. I will be only considering this first part itself. So in the first part, what I will try to do here is whatever the inside this bracket, I will equate it with omega into t. So what is going to happen? Omega t equal to t into pi by 3. Okay, let's say this is omega equal to see, what did I do? I assume that inside this bracket whatever is there omega t, which I equated to t into pi by 3. Then what will happen? Then this omega, sorry, this t and this t will get cancel out. Then what you are getting? Omega equal to pi by 3. But what is this omega here? Omega here is 2 pi f, isn't it? 2 into pi into f. Okay, left hand side omega equal to 2 into pi into f naught or whatever may be. But what is right hand side? Pi by 3. So now what will happen? This pi and this pi will get cancelled out. I'll cancel this pi and this pi. Then what I'll be getting? This 2 if I bring on the other side, then this will become f equal to 1 by 6 or t equal to 6. So that's why I'm getting t1. So I assume that this is a 1. So that's why wherever this t is there, I substitute t1 equal to 1. So that's why I'm saying that t1 equal to 6. Similarly, for t2 equal to, if I do the analysis for this one, since this is 4, so 1 by 2 into 4, 8, and the t equal to, the f equal to 1 by 8, and hence t2 will be 8. Okay. So now t1 by t2, I will see t1 by t2, what I'm getting is t1 by t2 equal to 6 by 4, that equal to 3 by 4, 6 by 8, that is 3 by 4, that is a rational number, which I say it as m2 by m1 from this particular relation, whatever, if I can say that. Then what you have to do here is you have to use this relation m1 t1 equal to m2 t2 to find out. From this relation, what you can say that from these two relationship, what you can say here is the t naught is constant. Then what you can write from here? From this relation, let us assume if t naught is constant, then what can you write? For simplicity, let us assume t naught equal to 1. Then what is going to happen? Then what will be the relationship between t1, t2 and m1, m2?
m1 by m2 equal to t2 by t1, sir.
m1 by m2 or m2 by m1?
m2 by m1 equal to t1 by t2.
Okay, yeah, because that's why it will. So from here I can write it as something like m2 by m1 equal to what it will happen? t1 by t2. So this is the equation, from if I cross multiply, what is going to happen? So m2 t2 equal to m1 t1. So from here itself we got this t1 by t2, we have this information. So that's why I'm writing it as m2 by m1. Okay. And now it is quite easy to find out the corresponding m1 and m2, because the t1 and t2 values, which are nothing but 3 by 4, the ratio is 3 by 4, then easily you can find out. So then the corresponding values, you can find out what is the m1 and what is the m2. So this is not the dot, this is multiplication symbol, this is into. Okay. So now what is m1 and m2 from these particular equations? m1 is 6, 3, 4, 8. There are 4 things here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are m1 and m2?
4, 3, sir.
Huh?
4, 3.
Because you know that this 6, whatever you are seeing here is, that is something relevant to the time, and this 8 is relevant to the time. So then obviously the corresponding values, the 3 and 4 will be the corresponding m1 and m2 or so on. Okay, so this is the way to find out the m1 and m2. Now, sum of periodic signal may not always be periodic. So here the sum of signals, what we have seen here is 2 different signals we have considered, and we have shown that it is periodic. But we will see now some of two periodic signals may not always be periodic. So two signals, what you can say that this is cos t and this is sine root of 2t. So this is a kind of linear and this is a kind of non-linear because of the square root term. We will see what is linear and non-linear later. So again, I will do the similar analysis. T1 equal to 2 pi by, I will equate this to omega t equal to, the same thing, whatever this omega equal to 1 and so on. And similarly, I will do with this one. And I will try to find out this, and you can see that whether it is a periodic or aperiodic. So for this particular things, we can see that it is an aperiodic signal. Why? Because of the square root of t. Square root of t is a kind of non-linear signal. And the next thing is even and odd signal. So as we discussed, even g of t equal to g of minus t, g of t equal to minus g into minus t. So you can see that the signals, the even and odd. So tomorrow, while coming, you have to analyze, you have to come up with some practical examples of this even and odd signal. Okay. So that is obviously from this figure, you can see that what is happening, the one which is in the, so whether this is the image, mirror images, can anyone tell whether this is the mirror image or what? Whether the even and odd signal, whether they are the image. This is the lower bottom is the odd signal or even signal. What is this signal?
Odd and even.
This is even or odd?
Even, sir.
Even, sir.
Even, sir.
Let us assume g of 2. Let us assume t equal to 2. Let's say if I say that this is 1 and this is 2. What is happening? When I substitute t equal to 2, then this value is minus 1. Okay. Then what is happening? G of minus 2. When I substitute t equal to minus 2, what will be the thing? The same thing here. You can see that both are the same here. Okay. When the time is reversing, when the time is positive and negative, you will have the same values of these functions. That's why we call it as the even function. Whereas here, when the time is reversing, let's say, if this time, let us assume this is the x-axis is 1, the time is 1, here is also 1. The y-axis, you can see that it has gone in the other direction. So this is the positive peak and this is the negative peak. That's why we call it is an odd function. So the even part of a function, you can write it as g of t plus g of minus t by 2. Whereas the odd part, you can write g of t minus g of minus t by 2. So this is the way to write, a function with even part is 0 is odd, and a function whose odd part is 0 is even. This is this is very important point. You should carefully look into this one. A function whose even part is 0, that means ge as 0 is odd, and a function whose odd part is 0 is even. So various combinations are always possible, If both the functions, if you are trying to combine two different functions, if both of them even, then obviously, all the things will be even. If you add two even signal, it will be even. If you add if you subtract two even signal, it will be even, and so on. However, when both of them are odd, both of them are odd, then what is going to happen? The sum will be odd, difference will be odd, whereas the product and this will be even. When even and odd, the combination of this thing, then you cannot, say what is going to happen, because that depends upon the various things. This you can do with us by taking the simple, signals, and then you can see what is this. The derivative and the integrals of the function. If the function is even, then its derivative will be odd, integral will be odd plus constant. For example, what can you say about x square? Let's say this is an x square. I will say one function as x square. Is the x square is even function or odd function?
Even, sir.
Even
Even,
function.
sir.
X square is even function, right?
Even.
What will be the derivative of this x square?
2x, sir.
2x.
where 2x is odd or even?
Odd,
Odd,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so this is a very simple example. This you can further analyze in a very detailed way, and you can see what is happening. And again, this is a discretized version of the signals. You can see that in the event signal, event function, both of them, on the same axis. So if you fold it, it will be the same. Along this y-axis, if you fold, then it will be the same. Along the y-axis, if you fold these two things, it will be the same. However, in the odd function, you can see that, on the other side, the signals will be diagonally will be the same. And the same thing, so analysis you can see. And product of two discrete time even and odd signals. So this aspect also you can analyze on your own. So this is the proof. Prove that product of two even signal is even. You can take the two even signals, x square into, x1 square into x2 square, and whatever the signal you can substitute the value, you can always get the same thing. And these properties you can already, by taking some x's, the even signal you can take as x square, odd signal you can take x, and you can see what is happening. And this is the energy and power signal. A signal with finite energy and zero power is called as an energy signal. A signal with finite energy and zero power is called as an energy signal. That is for energy. If it is zero in between 0 and infinity and power equal to 0. And signal energy of a signal is defined as the area under the square of the magnitude of the signal. So whatever this signal square, you do the absolute value of the signal square, and if you integral means area under the curve, isn't it? It is minus infinity to infinity, then that will give you the signal energy. Okay. So the power. So how do you calculate the power? Power is the limit t tends to infinity 1 by t integral of minus t to t by 2 x of t square. This proof you can see in the textbook Oppenheim and signal processing by Oppenheim. This you can see the energy and power signals. So for a periodic signals, wherever for the periodic signals it will look like this. For the discrete signals, this integral will become the summation. This integral will become the summation. So tomorrow I will conduct a small test in power and energy of a signal. Please go through the literature. Please go through the different books, and I will conduct this is a small example. I will conduct a small test for you tomorrow, and we will see the applications as well. All of you, please come prepared with the energy and signal. You can search in the Google, or you can go through the textbooks of any signal processing. So energy of a signal and power of a signal will be very, very important. So these two aspects we'll again revisit tomorrow. Okay, I am ending this session. Thank you.